What time is it, my brother?
Well, I think we let enough time pass since the last episode. I think we're ready to, maybe talk some Fantastic Four.
No, I mean, what other time is it?
Oh, it's clobbering time.
Should we get the formalities out of the way?
Of course, man. We wasted enough time.
With that said, welcome to this installment of the After the Opening Credits podcast. I'm one half of your host, Hugo the Boss. Hugo got next, joined by my illustrious co-host.
It's your boy Ray Boogie Kahuna. Like my brother said, we're getting all the formalities out of the way. So if you were here before, you heard the spoiler-free review. Today, this episode, we're digging deep into the spoilers. So if you don't want any, get the hell out of here, my brother, please. Tell them what the deal is.
Like, comment, subscribe, follow Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
Everybody enjoying the visual portion of this podcast. If you like it, if you don't like it, I don't care. Like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay up to date.
And for all of our audio listeners, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcast, you already know. So what would you like to begin, my brother?
I think we kick it off like any other movie from the beginning.
Yeah, well, me being critical, I think the beginning of the movie packed in a lot. And if you're not familiar with the comic book lore or the characters, I kind of feel like you miss out a little bit on the character development and things of that nature. But from a comic book nerd standpoint, I loved it. I thought they kind of got the origin story with it and done out the way. No introduction needed, got the formalities out the way, jumped right into the plot of the movie. A little fast paced for my taste, but not necessarily the worst thing considering how the project got completely flushed out towards the end. This movie, as we mentioned, the spoiler-free podcast would have benefited from an extra half hour, but I overall did not dislike how they handled the beginning of the movie. I could understand critically from a casual standpoint how they may have not liked how that beginning and origin story was packed in so tightly in the beginning.
Well, I don't disagree that they did pack a lot in the beginning. There's pros and cons to both, right?
Correct.
I like the fact that they kind of cut out the origin. Believe it or not, that might be a bit of a spicy take, but like, I think they do a well enough job in the beginning with the lore dump where they kind of just explain briefly, hey, he's the Fantastic Four. This is what you really kind of need to know about him.
Right. And,
they give you a quick montage of, all the villains that they've been fighting throughout the 4 years of their, existence, right? The con for me there was, I wish we could have got a little more extra bad guy action.
True.
I just wish it wasn't really all, in the beginning of the movie.
I didn't hate it because I agree with you. I think we've seen so much of the Fantastic Four in the past, and I think they did flush it out good enough where you kind of had a good understanding of their origin. They jump right into the Silver Surfer, and the Silver Surfer kind of lays out what the plot's going to be in this movie and essentially what the real terror of the new universe, well, this universe, not the Sacred Timeline, is going to be.
Yeah, they really get to the meat and potatoes of it in the first 20 minutes, and to be honest, I didn't really hate that. No further explanation for the Fantastic Four. Just get to the story, right?
The plot and everything in the story flowed nicely from there, considering Julie Gardner getting introduced in the movie and basically laying out how the story was going to go. They didn't waste a lot of time showing Reed's brilliance and building a ship that could reach Galactus. They didn't waste a lot of time in getting them back to Earth after Galactus had basically gave them the ultimatum of the child versus the planet. For those who are not familiar, Franklin Richards is one of the more powerful characters in the MCU. Based on his lore, he is a character that is of cosmic energy. A lot of the Eternals look at him as a god, and Celestials, including Galactus, look at him as an equal. And to Galactus's point, he wanted to consume him because he knew that he could gain eternal energy from him, as well as find a replacement for him so he could rest from his world-eating job.
He just wanted somebody to take away the pain. My man was just tired of eating worlds, man. He was just tired of it.
And to that, a lot going on in that faster than light scene. It was incredibly done. The CGI was on point to that scene. I will give it the MCU and the production team a ton of credit.
Yeah, you got a lot of solid action here. Between them trying to outrun Galactus from his ship to the Silver Surfer tracking him down in an interstellar galactic wormhole. That whole sequence was sick. I mean, this also leads to the worst part of the CGI in the movie, in my opinion, with the baby, when after the suit ends up giving birth. But you give and you take. You get some of the good CGI, you get some of the bad CGI, but a lot of the action sequences in this particular part of the story, for the most part, was pretty good, outside the baby, obviously.
Why don't you give me some details to the baby CGI and how bad it was?
Oh my God.
It looked like a green screen.
It looked bad. I mean, my God. I mean, no budget. I think they forgot that they had to have Sue give birth. And they were like, oh wait, we need this baby to come out somehow, right? And they just threw some bad animation, in my opinion, out there.
It is bad considering what it followed, right? The sequence with the Silver Surfer tracking down and chasing them was incredible. It was well done. It was clean on the screen. Not even in the IMAX, it looked good, which is incredible because we didn't see it in IMAX. So.
And the Silver Surfer looked badass.
Yeah.
Like, it was some of the coolest things I think I've seen from Marvel in terms of, like, you know, highlighting a character's abilities.
Yes, and just that bad baby CGI just completely threw that whole scene off. But
it took me out the movie. I'm not gonna lie to you.
But outside of that, it was relatively good. But the movie itself, besides the beginning, flows pretty well up until this point and into the rest of the movie.
So they finally escape. They lose the Silver Surfer. They get to Earth. The Fantastic Four, they all come out, you know, Sue, baby in hand, and they break the news to the people of Earth. You know, they're like, hey, man, Galactus is still coming. He gave us an ultimatum. It's the baby or the planet.
This is an important scene, in my opinion, in terms of like displaying Reed's brilliance, because he's almost so smart that he's dumb. Because that's probably a detail that he shouldn't have shared, which then in turn, you can see the swing of how beloved they were on the planet go to the complete opposite because the people begin to turn on him.
Oh, yeah, the people turn on him real quick, and they're like, well, just give up the baby. That baby ain't worth millions of lives, you know? And obviously, you know, they ain't gonna kill no baby in Marvel.
100%. And that kind of laid out the foundation of like the family dynamic and the chemistry that Reed and Sue had on screen, where they conflicted in a big portion of the movie.
Oh yeah, she was pissed off. She was like, I know you're thinking about it, you sick man.
Yeah.
You sick bastard. Don't even think about putting a baby out there. And Reed's like, listen, I can't help it, man. I'm just a giga genius, man.
And while that's all happening, as a subplot in this movie, you have Johnny Storm actually going through some of Reed's records, because Reed is clearly busy trying to move the planet to a different galaxy to avoid Galactus. Johnny is on the roll here. He's got his brain formulating, and he's always underestimated because he's not looked at as the brilliant one of the group.
Yeah, they definitely look at him as, you know, for lack of better words, a bit of the dummy, right?
Right. You know, and the thing is, he actually kind of took that to heart because he always felt like he was overlooked and decided to decipher the Silver Surfer's language.
So this is the subplot of the movie that I kind of like. It gives Johnny some depth. Also kind of shows that Johnny's not really useless, that he's more than just flame on. Right? It pauses Julie Gardner for a bit. She's able to, from there, like break down and give her backstory and gives you the background on, hey, maybe she's not pure evil. She's also kind of like held against her will and doing things that she doesn't want to do. And that kind of causes her to just like, you know, leave the screen momentarily because, you know, like at the end, you'll see the change of heart, right?
Correct. But now the Silver Surfer dips, but that's still not stopping Galactus. And he's coming with an empty belly and he's hungry.
Exactly. So Galactus is coming. So the Fantastic Four, they go to their plan B. Their plan B, the B stands for baby. They decide to use the baby as a decoy, put the baby in Times Square as a prop to kind of lure Galactus there to one of the remaining structures that they originally had to transport the planet. And the plan now is to transport Galactus himself.
Correct.
So Galactus finally arrives, and you get to see him in all of his glory, out of his ship, standing tall, looking like a purple Godzilla.
Yep.
And listen, the CGI was sick.
CGI in him was phenomenal. Cannot emphasize this enough, ladies and gentlemen.
He looked cool as hell.
You could tell most of the production budget and the CGI budget went into Galactus for this film, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, yeah. And he proceeds to make his way to the baby. And that's where you get to see the Fantastic Four be fantastic. But Galactus is a little too strong. And now that I had time to think about it, need a little more marination, right? Got a little more gripes.
Oh,
Mr. Fantastic's power is to stretch, right? So why, when Galactus had Mr. Fantastic, he had a limit on his stretch? So they nerfed Reed in terms of like, you know, being arrogant, right? Some of the personality traits, right?
yeah.
I mean, they nerfed a lot of the characters in terms of personality traits, but that not only Reed got a double nerf, because Reed got the personality nerf and he got the power nerf. Then the more I thought about it, I was like, damn, they kind of did him dirty.
Yeah, and I think the explanation that's been going around online is that basically that Reed was stretched against his will. And I guess if you look at like the aspect ratio of like how big Galactus is on screen relative to Reed, he's totally getting stretched, but like Galactus's hands versus where my hands are at are like completely different lengths. So I guess that kind of makes sense, but I'm kind of with you there too. It kind of threw me off a little bit. I guess they had to make Reed and get Reed into a little bit of trouble and make him look a little vulnerable.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
Galactus is not a guy who's gonna melt them or like melt rubber or turn rubber cold like the old Doctor Doom did in the original movie. So
I didn't know. I guess you're right. They had to kind of give him a weakness, but I was like, I mean, his weakness is his ability.
right,
I didn't really like that. Felt kind of lame.
could have wrote it better.
Yeah, 100%.
He could have flung him like a rubber band.
Yeah,
I would have
or-
been fine with that.
Or just like bounced him like a ball or something. Just put him in and then just like, chucked him or something, right?
Yes,
He chucks the thing. Ben Grimm goes flying. That man is almost in space.
Johnny saves him. So,
Johnny saves him.
Yep.
I feel like they also kind of nerfed Johnny a bit too because like, I guess in the comics, right, his flame on ability is crazy, right?
he goes supernova, ladies and gentlemen.
Not in this movie, but
Right.
he should. But Galactus, again, very formidable. Is able to push off 3 of the 4 members. But ain't nothing stronger than a mother's touch. Than a mother's love. Sue Storm was not letting that man get to that baby.
And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, for people who are like, I seen some of the online reactions to Sue bodying him. Sue is an Omega level MCU character. For most of the Marvel characters that are super OP'd by lore, they're predominantly women. Wanda, Sue, etc., etc. They're all Wonder Woman level, to be frank with you. So I had no problem with Sue basically giving up her life in this scene and pushing Galactus into the black hole. Galactus then popping out after Sue dies, and the Silver Surfer, with her change of heart, coming to the rescue and sparing Johnny from the fate that she had long avoided.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings about a lot of this sequence. One, Sue Storm dying, because it felt very like Batman versus Superman-esque.
Yeah.
Like, damn, you kill Superman off this early? You gonna kill Sue Storm this early? Like that felt a little like she's not dead.
Nope.
We knew somehow, some way they're gonna bring her back. The Silver Surfer coming back was pretty cool.
Yes.
And obviously having the change of heart that we knew was coming. I think the Silver Surfer ended up sacrificing herself, right? Like she jumped into the portal with him, right?
Yes.
And pushed Galactus back and helped the Fantastic Four, save the day, right?
Yeah, and with that happening, you also have Sue on the floor, which then again, we are introduced to more further bad baby CGI, where they put the baby on Sue's chest. And because Franklin Richards is such an OP character within the comics and is able to manipulate molecules and things of that nature, is able to resurrect Sue.
Yeah, and with that said, the baby saves Sue. Sue saves the baby. It's an equal transaction. Again, that scene kind of just sucked for me in general because, again, it would have had a little more of an emotional punch. If 1, she didn't really die, but like 2, if there was just more development in general with any of the 4 Fantastic Four members.
Which I mentioned in the beginning of this podcast, as well as the spoiler-free podcast my brother did as well. This movie would have benefited from an extra half hour just to really develop the characters, give you their backstories. And I agree with you 100%. The film would have been flushed out better with just a little more time on it.
Yeah, and that brings the end to the movie. That's the conclusion there. I guess anything we missed. I guess the Mole Man, I wish they could have explored him more. He definitely would have benefited from some more screen time in general. Unfortunately, in this movie, he just felt like a quick fix for the plot, because they needed to get people out and, keep them safe. And
some will call him a plot mover.
Mole Man, more like Plot Man, right? I guess.
Yeah, I mean, but ladies and gentlemen, just so you have an overall view on how we view this movie, we enjoyed this film. We're honestly just nitpicking some of the things that we've seen in there, some of the character development issues that we've seen, some of the pacing, and maybe the extended half an hour. But outside of that, and my brother's recent gripes with Mr. Fantastic getting stretched out.
Yeah, that one started really pissed me off the more I thought about it.
The overall movie was pretty good. It was really good. The story was basic. The family dynamic that was nailed within the character that we spoke in detail about in the spoiler-free review was very well nailed, to be frank with you. But at the end of the day, like, the movie is a solid film. It's one of the better MCU films that we've seen in a while. And let me not even say in a while, because The Thunderbolts was an overlooked film, to be frank with you. I just think that it's a situation where we're being critical of the movie, but overall, we enjoyed this film. I thought the film was very enjoyable throughout it. And besides some of the gripes, I thought it hit the mark.
100%. I mean, listen, you like the Fantastic Four, you're going to love the action. The plot is simple, but gets to the point, doesn't waste any time. Marvel did play it safe, but in playing it safe, they were able to deliver a solid movie. I did wish it took a little more risk. I did wish it was a half hour longer. I did wish there was a little more development and maybe another bad guy, but outside of that, I mean, for an origin story, or I guess for a first reintroduction for the Fantastic Four,
First steps.
first steps, not a bad step.
Outside of that, I think we can pretty much move on into the end credit scenes where, you know, we have some questionable comments for those as well.
Yeah, the end credit scenes are not really going to blow your socks off. There's two of them. There's a mid credit, there's an end credit. The mid credit is probably a little more important in terms of the overall arc for the MCU. It's pretty much just like a silhouette, or not a silhouette, but like a brief little glimpse of Doctor Doom, who is not Robert Downey Jr., or it is. We don't know. They don't really show his face, right?
Which gives me a little bit of concern from a viewer standpoint with the MCU and the direction that they're going, because we did get a snippet, like a little Easter egg of Latvia, the empty chair, while Sue was giving her political speech in the movie. He was not present, so we do know that Doctor Doom is
A thing.
in this universe.
100%.
But we don't know if this is the RDJ variation that's jumping from timeline to timeline looking for a cosmic energy. But I don't know if the MCU knows directly what they want to do, because in my opinion, that probably should have been a Kang scene. Obviously, with Jonathan Majors with his legal troubles outside of the MCU and the movie theaters, I'm not sure that Marvel and Disney know what they want to do particularly yet with that character or Doctor Doom himself.
Yeah, and that kind of scares me a bit, because it's like, you know, the next movie I think is Doomsday, and going into Doomsday with little to no kind of like lead up for the Doctor Doom character himself, I feel like Disney is pretty much saying, hey man, listen, I think the plan is we're just going to sell you on Robert Downey Jr. We're just going to sell you on, you know, the Russo brothers coming back, and hopefully you enjoy the movie. But it doesn't feel good, because there's no, again, Thanos level buildup. There's no buildup at all, if I'm being completely honest. It's kind of just like, you know, weak stingers that are kind of just like, hey, they're connected, but like, you know, it's very foreboding, you know?
And to my brother's point, it just goes to show you that the MCU is in a weird place. I do have faith in the Russo brothers, but to my brother's point, this is a stinger that's safe. It's too safe. And I think the MCU needs to take a little bit more risk in terms of like what they're presenting and what they're bringing to the table and building the story and making all of the stories connect.
Yeah, it just reeks of uncertainty, unfortunately. Like, you know, they just don't know which direction you want to go. And again, they're just taking the safe route. The stinger at the end of the Thunderbolts, for instance, that was a little more intriguing, but it also kind of just felt like a setup as well. Like, hey, this is the next movie. Like, this stinger also felt like, hey, this is the next movie. Like, it doesn't, you know, I don't really feel like it served any kind of real purpose outside of just hyping up the next movie.
And that uncertainty has us, particularly as comic book fans, a little worried going forward. It's too safe. There's no Thanos level build, which is what you want, which is what Doctor Doom warrants, because he's more of an OP character than Thanos. Let's just put it on the table.
Yeah.
And they're rushing this, and it's just going to be a movie with Secret Wars and the Doctor Doom Doomsday movie, where it's just going to be a whole bunch of nostalgia packed into a film with the original X-Men, the current Fantastic Four cast, and a couple of the historic and already established MCU characters like Thor, etc., etc. More star-packed, nothing built that's going to really come to a conclusion of this arc.
And then the second stinger isn't really that important to anything. I mean, it's cool for Fantastic Four fans. It's pretty much just an homage to the 60s cartoons. And that's it, really. I mean,
which was nice. I thought that was nice.
Yeah, it was cute. It was nice. And besides that, I mean, that's it. The movie ends there. Our ratings haven't changed. We still love the movie. We still would like to go see it again.
3 out of 4 Johnnies. You know,
3 out of 4 Johnnies, yeah.
And I think that's definitely the best way to wrap this all up.
So the time has been clobbered. This one's done. Another episode in the books. My brother, you could take us home.
Like, comment, subscribe, follow Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
Everybody enjoying the visual portion of this podcast, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date.
And for all of our audio listeners, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcast, you already know. Love you guys. Holla at you guys. See you for the next movie episode, whatever that may or may not be. Take it easy. We'll keep pumping out more content and clips. Follow us on all the social media platforms. Love you guys. Holla at you guys. Enjoy the Fantastic Four. It's a great see. Later.